Hello, everybody. My name is Cruisin with Ted. Thank you for joining us today. This is one of our presentations featuring all the latest and the biggest travel providers. Today, we have the opportunity to speak with Holland America, and your host today is going to be Javier Yataco. He is the National Account Manager for Holland American Line. So go ahead and take it away, Javier. And by the way, before you take it away, just remind people, if you have a question, put it in the chat and we'll try to take it up later. If we don't take up all your questions, we'll have our contact information there and you are going to be able to contact us later. Go ahead, Javier Yataco, take it away.
Great. Thank you, Ted, and good afternoon, everyone. Let me start sharing my screen so that you can view the presentation today. We are going to go over the latest and greatest with Holland America and start from what we do best and also where we go with the rest of our deployment. So this year alone, we are celebrating 150 years sailing across the globe with Holland America. So we started in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam specifically, and yeah, can you believe it? 150 years, but we've come a long way from those days. So let me move forward here. Perfect. So let's go. Why isn't this thing going? Perfect. All right. So if you're new to Holland America, we are a premium cruise line dedicated to these 5 pillars here. If you are all about exploring the destination, trying to learn the customs, understand the history, mix with the locals, HAL is a great product for you. If you have a wide palate and you consider yourself a foodie, you'd be pleasantly surprised with our culinary experience on board and also what we do ashore, which I'll go into a little bit. If you enjoy the live music and you love to get up and dance or hear a variety of music styles, you would be pleasantly surprised with what we have over at HAL. And if you enjoy that elevated service, that attention to detail, our staff, there are software, and they really elevate the HAL experience. And our ships, like I mentioned, 150 years, we have a timeless design, and we're intimate ships, mid-sized ships from 1,400 to 2,400 passengers with our ships. We're not in the race to be at 5,000 packs or less than 1,000 packs. So let's go into what we have for Holland America with our explorers. So we have over 500 itineraries to select from, over 400 ports. We have a program on board called our Exploration Central, all designed to bring the destination to life for our guests. We do this in a variety of ways with the entertainment, the speaker series that we have on board. Depending on the destination, we'll have naturalists on board highlighting some of the wildlife that you're viewing, like when you're in Alaska. We also have cooking demonstrations on board to give you a little bit more insight of some of the traditional meals of where we sail into. But here are just across the globe of what we have. We have itineraries from 7 days all the way up to 128 days with our world cruise and everything else in between. So if you're looking to put out that revenge travel out there because of the last couple of years, we have a lot to offer through 2024. So for foodies, this is my personal favorite about HAL. We have an incredible culinary council. You can see the chefs here of who we have. Our master chef is Rudy Soderman, but each particular chef has a specialty that they provide to Holland America that you'll see in the dining room and Lido and the specialty restaurants and room service all throughout the voyage. And our newest chef is Kristen Quiche. She's winner from Top Chef season 10. So if you're a fan of that show, you would recognize that name. So here's just some samples of my last cruise in July in Alaska, just some of the samplings of what I had personally in Tamarin in the dining room, so that you could see and share or see and kind of get hungry, right? It is at lunch hour. And then for every great Meal, obviously need to pair it with an incredible, fantastic wine. James Suckling, he's our wine critic enthusiast who handpicks all of our selections on board, or if you're looking for crafty cocktails, Dale DeGroff is our master mixologist, personally trains all of our mixologists and bartenders on board. We also have a partnership with Food and Wine magazine. With every itinerary that we offer, we'll always have a shore excursion that partners with Food and Wine. And this could be where the chef is taking you into a local market to prepare a meal for you, or taking guests into a personal home and having an intimate dining experience with locals there, or obviously, you know, the ever popular winery, wine tasting experience. But throughout wherever we sail to, you'll always find this option as an optional shore excursion with Holland America. For music, oh man, after dinner there is always something to do, to go, to enjoy after you've been exploring all throughout the afternoon, and work off that dinner, you know, burn off those calories. You'll have a variety of options from our music venues. With Music Walk, we have our Lincoln Center stage, just like in New York City. You can listen to a quartet playing classical music. If you want something more livelier, we have our BB King's Blues Club. The band there are straight from Beale Street, from Memphis, there to entertain our guests. We have our billboard on board, the dueling pianos, also the Rolling Stone Rock Room. So we have a wide variety of different music genres for our guests to enjoy. And like I mentioned, the renowned service, the elevated experience, the attention to detail, the extra pampering with our staff and crew giving to our guests. That's really what HAL is known for, that Dutch type of service, and our perfectly sized ships, right? So those are the 5 points for Holland America that really distinguishes us from other brands and who we attract for guests. So if you're new to Holland America, and if these resonate with you, definitely connect with Ted on this to explore more. But our backyard, our number one product for Holland America is Alaska. We've been coming here since 1947, 75 years actually this year here. So we know a thing or two about Alaska, and that really separates us from others. So we have more ships in Alaska. We have 6 for next season. We have obviously a variety of embarkation ports, more permits in Glacier Bay National Park, a variety of glacier viewing options, itineraries with 2 glacier viewing options, and all the themed entertainment to bring home and connect Alaska even further with our park rangers, the Huna tribe member, and also all the other entertainment that we have. But here's some imagery of Glacier Bay National Park. This is one of the most popular reasons why guests go to Alaska. With Holland America, we have more access to this area. You could view Marjorie Glacier right over here, and this is the ever famous glacier. The ship literally comes up to a couple of hundred yards. She'll do a full 360-degree rotation. Guests are out in the bow area taking it all in. We'll serve our classic Dutch pea soup for the guests to enjoy and keep warm. But it is one of those days that it is just, oh my gosh, every minute there's something new to see with the mountains, the glaciers, the ice, the wildlife. If you've never been, highly recommend it. We do bring on rangers on board. They'll do the talks throughout the day to highlight everything that you are viewing. And we have a wide variety of cruise only options for Alaska. But to really get the full experience of Alaska, highly recommend to do a cruise tour. This is where we combine the cruise experience with these other 2 options, a Denali experience cruise tour, or the Yukon and Denali cruise tour here. So I'll go into a little bit here, and I always recommend a cruise source. Like probably the best question or the most frequent question I receive from guests is Javi, when is the best time to go to Alaska? Always say, when is the time that you could give the most to Alaska? Because if you're just doing 8 days cruise only that you could only do in May, but in September you could do 2 weeks, I would tell you go in September and do the full 2 weeks so that you could do the Yukon and the Denali. And it's one of these destinations, if you've been before, you could go back again and see something completely different because of how the seasons change. So if you've gone in June, highly recommend to go in September so you could see the foliage there. Or if you wanted to see the Northern Lights, yes, go in late September, do the cruise tour over in Denali because you'll have a great chance to catch those Northern Lights there. Here's a little geography of what you could see for Alaska cruise only. If you could see, sailing inside Passage, going up to Icy Strait Point, Juneau. This is just a small portion, but you could see how much more you could see of all of this incredible landscape of Alaska. Denali National Park, it's the largest national park in the United States, over 6 million acres for guests to enjoy. And we actually have our McKinley Chalet Resort in the park itself. And then directly across, if you do the Yukon, we actually include a private charter plane to fly our guests from Fairbanks over to Dawson City so that you could experience the Yukon portion. We control it all. So here's an example of a layout of how we do a triple Denali journey. Let's say you contact Ted, you're interested, and you want to do a cruise tour. You're thinking land first because on the back end you want to relax on the cruise and then fly back home. You could easily do this. You'll fly into Fairbanks. You'll spend an overnight there. We'll motor coach you to Denali. You'll spend 3 nights there. Then you'll experience the luxury domed rail car from Denali to Anchorage, spend the night there. Then we'll train you over to Whittier, and that's where you'll board the ship. And then you'll cruise to Hubbard Glacier, Glacier Bay, Skagway, Juneau, Ketchikan, Inside Passage, and then disembark in Vancouver. And then you can fly back home. That's the beauty. We handle everything in the middle there for you, and you have options. If you want to do cruise first and then end with land, you could do that as well. It seems a little bit overwhelming, but Ted and team, they could go over all this with you and really make sure that you see Alaska properly. With all of our Denali experiences, we have the luxury domed rail cars where the rail cars have the glass ceiling so that you can enjoy the views. The glass was actually manufactured by Kodak so that you can capture those pristine pictures of the terrain, wildlife as we train through. It's about a 6-hour train ride, actually an 8-hour train ride over to Denali. And we include this with every cruise tour for Denali. And this is our McKinley Chalet Resort. Think of rustic chic, but this is on the premier location of the Nenana River in Denali National Park. We have a variety of restaurants. This is your hub spot for doing excursions off, whether it's ATV riding, whitewater rafting, doing a seaplane ride, all of the excursions that we have. And if you do a 2-night or 3-night Denali tour or Denali stay, we include a complimentary tundra wilderness tour into the national park. So here's another view of the chalet. But that tundra wilderness tour, we literally, you could see here is the chalet resort. We'll pick you up in the national park bus and take you into the national park and come down view to mile marker 46, where you have some options of viewing the bear viewings, the other wildlife. If it's a clear day, you could even catch Mount McKinley over 20,000 feet up. But it's quite an experience. And then we bring you back, and this is included complimentary if you're doing a 2-night or longer in Denali National Park. Then we also have the Yukon. We are the only cruise line that offers the Yukon experience, where there's rich in Klondike gold rush history, and we lead by a journey host. A journey host is always included with you from beginning to end from that Yukon experience, so that they're there to answer any questions, highlight, be your middle person if you have any questions or requests. But the Yukon is the Patagonia of North America. Highly recommended if you've never seen it before. And you could see here, that's all the Yukon. And again, from Denali, we'll take you to Fairbanks, and we have a private charter plane that's included in the ticket price that will take you over to Dawson City and take you all the way through. So you could see it all, very similar to the Denali. You could see how we do the Yukon and Denali. This is great because I've had guests that they're not big cruise people. However, they're more into the land portion. And this is where you can minimize the cruise experience and just catch the highlights. Like if you're doing cruise first, you could go to Vancouver, board the ship, sail inside Passage, Juneau, and then you'll go ahead and disembark in Skagway, spend an overnight, do the White Horse train ride. We'll bus you over to Dawson City, then take a plane to Fairbanks, spend the night in Fairbanks, then bus you over to Denali. Then you'll experience a luxury dome rail car, Anchorage, and then the journey ends right there, right? So that you just see all the highlights. But we have a wide variety of options. So for Alaska, Ted could go over all that with you, show you some of our information, but we have a wide variety. And for next year, we'll have 6 ships in Alaska there, but we do a lot more. We also go to Europe. We have 4 ships in Europe this year and next year. The season ends in October, where they start coming back over from Europe. And we have a wide variety of options. Obviously, we started in Europe in the Netherlands, so we were born there. We have some great overnight, late night stays in key cities of Dublin, Reykjavik, Stockholm, Venice, Istanbul. A variety of 7-day Mediterranean cruises. We have our largest ships doing Northern Europe. They're 2 Pinnacle class ships, the Rotterdam and the New Statendam, and collectors voyages. This is where you could connect 2 cruises back to back and make it one long voyage. And you, as the guest, will enjoy an extra discount when you combine them together, a 10% discount versus buying them individually. So we have the Med, Northern Europe, and transatlantics for our guests to enjoy. Here's just some sample itineraries. Mediterranean empires that you could view here. It's round trip Venice with an overnight in Venice and an overnight in Istanbul that you could see here of what we have. We also have Northern Europe as options. For 2023, we have Jewels of the Baltics, round trip Copenhagen, overnights in Copenhagen, overnights in Stockholm. So wide variety there, just some samples. And then obviously all the transatlantics that we have as well. And we're doing a special 150th anniversary transatlantic this October, and we're repeating it again next year as well if you need more time. So, but here's really the magic with Holland America is what we call collectors voyages. And this is where you could create a unique itinerary by combining 2 cruises together. So for next year, for 2023, this here is our 7-day Norse Legends on the Rotterdam, May 7th, with our 14 days Jewels of the Baltic, May 14th. For next year, we're still keeping St. Petersburg in the itinerary, but I am putting that disclaimer that that's subject to change with everything that's going on right now, but it's there. But you can combine those two and make it a 21-day collector's voyage with the Norse Legends and Jewels of the Baltic, and enjoy a 10% discount as well. So make it unique, make it as, or start crossing off all those bucket list items that you could do. So you could combine any of these with our Asia Pacific itineraries, with our Canada, New England, with our Caribbean, with our Australia, New Zealand, South America, just to give you an idea. And so here's some others of close to home of what we have for Canada, New England. For this year and next year, we'll have 2 ships offering 6 and 8 day. And then we also have a 24-day or 25-day as well out of Boston. So the new Statendam, she's Pinnacle class, one of our larger ships, but she is actually offering a 25-day next July 29th of 23, round trip Boston, going into Greenland and Iceland, and then coming back to Boston. You could see all the stops there. This is just super convenient to eliminate that international air, and you could go to some of these incredible destinations with Holland America. So it's next July of 2023. Then we have our Zaandam, our smaller ship. She's a 1,400 passenger ship, and she can actually go from Boston, sail through the St. Lawrence and go into Montreal, or the other way around, from Montreal back to Boston as well. But some of our grand voyages are off the beaten path. I love to highlight these because these are super unique, where we do it just once a year. But this is our Grand South America from Fort Lauderdale. You could do all 73 days round trip Fort Lauderdale, sail all around South America, or you could break it up into segments if you'd like. But take a look at this map over here from Fort Lauderdale, going down to Panama, crossing through the canal, going into Ecuador with Quito, into Peru with Trujillo, coming down to Chile, coming down to the Horn. You cross Drake's Passage and you'll actually go into the Antarctic Sound. Thank God for the stabilizers for the Drake Passage to make sure it's smooth sailings, but you could view some of those famous penguins there over in Antarctica, and then come across back up to the Falkland Islands, go to Buenos Aires, variety into Brazil, going into Manaus, an overnight there, then coming back up to Fort Lauderdale. So you have a lot of options for, or a lot of stops here with our 73-day next October. And with our grand voyages, we actually offer benefits for guests based on the cabin category that you book, with additional value-add amenities, whether it's shipboard credits and so forth. And if you pay in full by February of 2023, you also receive a 3% discount off of the cruise fare. Then we have our Grand Africa voyage, round trip Fort Lauderdale, eliminate that international air. 73 days. This is all 73 days. We're not breaking this one up into segments, but there's 20 ports of call, a variety of overnights. You could do a safari excursion and UNESCO heritage sites like Petra as well. But here is the itinerary from Fort Lauderdale going over that you could see. It's like romancing of what to plan to put on the books for next year. This is October of 2023. Only one time a year that we actually offer this. Our 2022 was super popular, sold out, and this is filling up actually nicely here. So this is the full 73-day that you could see. And again, different value adds for our guests to enjoy based on the cabin category. Ted and team could send that over. Then we have our Grand Australia and New Zealand voyage over here from January 3rd of 2024 94-day round trip out of San Diego, 4 overnights in Perth, Sydney, Auckland, and Papiti, 46 ports of call. But you could see this incredible offering here. Start planning, put it on the calendar, but flying to San Diego, going to Hawaii, the Fanning Islands, going to Fiji, coming down to Brisbane, and then start circumnavigating Australia, get even into Cairns, go see the Great Barrier Reef, right? Darwin, the Komodo Island as well. Then coming down into Fremantle or Perth, then going around, coming down to Hobart, Tasmania, there overnight in Sydney, then come back down to New Zealand, and boom, 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 boom. You're basically stopping all across New Zealand, overnight in Auckland, then coming back up to Southern Pacific, Bora Bora, Moorea, Papiti, and then making the journey back up home to San Diego. 94 days, right? Who's got the time? But you could see, again, other early booking benefits. Ted could send this all over to you based on the categories that you book. And then the big one, Grand World Cruise, World Voyage, January of 2024, 128 days, round trip, Fort Lauderdale, 60 destinations, 10 overnights, a variety of UNESCO World Heritage sites, what we have. But with this one, you can actually break it up into 8 different segments that you could see here in the bottom left if you're just looking to do portions of World Cruise. This is one of the benefits with the World Cruise if you just want to do some of the segments or do it all. I mean, we've been cooped up for 2 years, and 2023 is sold out already. 2024 is filling up. So yeah, bucket list, make it a check of what we have. And for Holland America, what is fantastic is that you have a variety of options of how to book with us. We have an inclusive package called Have It All, where we include a complimentary shore excursion based on the length of the voyage. We include the beverage package. We include specialty dining based on the length of the voyage, and also our surf Wi-Fi package. But this here gives you an idea of the breakdown if you are looking to book for 21 nights or longer. You could see here we'll include 3 complimentary excursions at a value of $100 per tour, so basically $300 per person for 21 days or longer. We'll include that beverage package, so if it's flavored coffees, teas, fresh squeezed orange juice, mocktails, cocktails, all included on board. We'll include 3 specialty dining. That's either in Pinnacle Grill, Tamarin, Canaletto. You have a wide variety of options. And then the Wi-Fi surf package throughout the duration of the voyage. So that gives you an idea there. Some guests are like, we don't drink, or the specialty dining, meh. There's like, is there something that we could do without these amenities? And of course, yes, we do have a price without Have It All, which will obviously be a lower price point for you all. For 23, we are offering our Book Early and Save promotion going on right now. So it's with Have It All, but we're also adding up, including $300 onboard credit per stateroom, or up to. Also complimentary crew appreciation. Those are what we call gratuities. To give you an idea, for suites, that's at $17 per person per day. If you're looking at verandas all the way down to insides, that's $15.50 per person per day for the cost of gratuities. So that could add up pretty quickly if you're looking at 20 plus days, 40 plus days, and et cetera, of just that extra value there with Have It All. And if you're sailing with, if you want to do a multi-gen cruise, we do have a kid sail free running through the end of the month with this offer here that Ted could give you more information on. And if you're looking for something last minute, close in, we do have our last minute cruises of Save on Sunshine, which is up to 40% off for select 2022 cruises for Caribbean or Mexico out of San Diego, our Caribbean's out of Fort Lauderdale. That offer ends through October, but through the 23rd of August, we're actually also including crew appreciation or gratuities as well on top of that. So if you're looking for close in last minute, that's a great offer if you could book by the 23rd. And with that, I will turn it over to Ted and open it up to questions and express my gratitude. Thank you to Ted and you all for joining me today.
Okay, Javier, can you see in the chat some of the questions? If not, I can bring them up for you.
Let's see here. Bump up. Let's go to the top. Yes.
You don't mind going through those?
Yeah, I see your comments here. I see
Some of them I've answered.
I'll be on Eurodam, saying Alaska next weekend. Any timing tips for viewing from an aft balcony on deck 5 in lieu of standing with the crowd? First time to Alaska and first time on HAL. Excited. Great, Lydia. I would highly recommend bring binoculars. It's that aft view, early mornings, sitting out with your cup of joe would be fantastic. Inside passage as we are sailing through, I would say hunker out there. When you're sitting out, you could hear the park ranger narrating, highlighting what we're seeing so that you could have your private area there instead of out in the open decks or exploration central up top forward. So yeah, that's the beauty with Alaska, more specifically, because just sitting out, it's that surprise of what are you going to see then at that moment. And next week, still August, yeah, you are going to be seeing some great wildlife out there. So enjoy and take it all in, book those excursions your first time there. So yeah, and then share your feedback with Ted. Let's see here. Next question. Do you have recommendations of best itinerary for singles, not just solo, but like widowed singles looking for new mates? It's a great question. I would say the 7-dayers are really popular, whether it's Mexican Riviera, Caribbean, Canada, New England, even the European 7-day meds. But if you're going on what I personally have heard, what guest solos have enjoyed, doing the longer voyages like the collectors, because every week they'll see a new group of people coming in and you're just there and obviously getting a new audience all the time every week. So it's fun. It's if you have the time, I'd highly recommend just doing longer, like do a season out in Europe, and you'll see some great opportunity there for making new long friends, connections. Next question is, if you're going to Alaska, you might want to obtain the latest copy of this book, Alaska by Cruise Ship. Alaska by Cruise Ship on Amazon.
That was a recommendation I made.
Ah, perfect. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ted. That's all the questions that I see here.
Okay, let me turn over to my screen here. Give me a second. One of the things too is, don't you, on the question about single cruisers, Javier, while I get set up, don't you have some cabins for single cruisers, I believe?
We do on our
select
pinnacle
sailings?
on our pinnacle class ships, the Rotterdam, the Koningsdam, and New Statendam. We do have single ocean view staterooms. So it's a reduced single supplement instead of the 200%, but we do. Yes.
Okay. Let me just get set up here. So just give me a few more minutes. I don't know if you covered everything's changing now, but with COVID precautions, you might have
Sure.
already mentioned it.
I didn't
Testing,
actually.
you did mention it,
So
right? And that's a fluid situation, of course.
it's fluid, but super excited. This Monday, we announced another update. So for voyages 15 days or less, unvaccinated guests can cruise. They would just need to show a test, either a self-test or an observed test 3 days prior to embarkation. And you could cruise. The restrictions are itineraries that touch Canada, Greece, or Australia. Those three destinations still require 100% vaccinated. For vaccinated guests, you need to show your vaccine card and no longer required to test prior to embarking for 15 days or less, for voyages 15 days or less. Yep.
Okay, thanks so much, Javier. And I'll take it over now. If you see any more questions, just let me know.
Sure.
I am a travel advisor. My name's Cruisin with Ted. We do specialize in small ship ocean, river cruises, and expedition. Of course, Holland America was the first main travel provider that I hooked up with, because they are, I mean, they've been around for 150 years. So I mean, they wrote the book on cruising. You know, nobody knows more about it than they do. So this is my website. It's cruisinwithted.com. We ask you go on there and find out about our special offers. You can sign up for our special offers. As an example, this was a cruise earlier this year where you can see, all the extra goodies that you get with us. Lunch on board, box lunch, upgraded rooms, onboard credits, all this stuff you wouldn't know about if you just booked directly with the cruise line. So why not call a experienced travel advisor that all they do is tell you about cruises like this, and we know all the different tricks and how to get you exclusive amenities just like this.
And if I could interject there, Ted, with that that signature exclusive, I mean, I just want to reiterate to the viewers here, like, that's a prime example of booking through Ted and his agency, because those are exclusives just for his agency, with the extra Denali dollars, the complimentary lunch during the Tundra Wilderness Tour on select Alaska cruise tours, and etc. So we're all looking for value, right? So I'm just throwing that in there.
Okay. And I don't know if Javier mentioned it, but he told me that if we book enough of these cruises, he's going to give me a free world cruise, right, Javier? Javier? Oh, I think we lost him.
That's on purpose, my friend. No, I'm joking.
He went silent there. He went dark. What about that free cruise you promised me? The free world cruise?
It's it get up to.
I get up to a free world cruise.
Up to.
Maybe if I sold like 1 million of these cruises, you would do it, right?
There you go, Ted. Yes.
Okay. It's just like my special offers. It's up to so much. I didn't look at the fine print there. All right, and this is our Facebook page, Cruisin with Ted. It's right there on Facebook. You go on there every day. We're publishing tons of information about small ship ocean, river cruising, expedition, and all that stuff's right there. So like our Facebook page. And if you look at some of our reviews, it said Ted took over a booking. He got his extra onboard credits, and he's been in contact with us. So, amazing guy, good looking too. Don't forget that, right? So hold on 1 second here. My screen's going black here now. Give me a second. All right. So one thing I wanted to tell you about too is that okay, so that one's not showing. There's our Facebook group, Holland American Line. It has almost 3.5 thousand members. Okay. Oh, there it came up. And when we talk about things such as the special journeys that Holland America offers, like, for example, I wrote a blog about the Devil Denali cruise, which I think they still have. But this one was round trip Seattle. So it's a great combination where it shows in the picture that you can arrive in Seattle, fly out. There's dozens and dozens of combinations you can get. So I don't know how anybody could wend their way through it all because we're so experienced and this is all we do. We could find special information like this, like for this one, if they still have it, and you can fly from Seattle to Anchorage and you go up there and and today it may not be Anchorage, it's another location, but these kind of things are very, very amazing because you don't, you know, you can fly round trip from Seattle and do all this amazing stuff and, you know, not have to worry about anything. So on this one, you know, it had all this stuff included in the cruise price. Some of the things, you know, we love about the cruises is, first of all, the crew are nice. I mean, anybody that's sailed on Holland America will agree it's amazing people on board, and also the fellow guests as well. It's a great combination. You're going to meet people from all over the world. Okay, so and you're going to go all over the world too with Holland. There's really no place where they don't go. They have full room service breakfast selection, including eggs on debarkation morning. Um, on the Lido buffet, lots of cook to order options available to different stations. And that's something that's highly unusual. Usually on the Lido deck, you know, it's like burgers and fries. No, not here. It's all kinds of things that you can get. And dinner with Italian and Asian selections are amazing. Well-designed staterooms, light colored decor, cubbies and closet space, large, you know, centrally located TVs. Okay. And this is on the conning stand, of course, on the newest ship as well. So all these things are amazing on that I love when I'm on board. And I'm sure you'll agree that it is an amazing experience. Okay. So give me 1 second here. I ran into a little bit of a technical problem here. So I'm gonna give me 1 second here. All right. So is there any other further questions?
I don't see any other new questions that popped up.
Okay, just give me 1 minute. Let me see if I can. I'm kind of frozen on my screen. I clicked something here, and
Uh-oh.
you know, I may not be the most technical expertise person, Javier, like you are, because you're a spring chicken. So I don't know. I don't know how to get out of this screen I'm in, but I do want to remind everybody that we are Cruising with Ted. We offer great, amazing services, and because Holland America is, I would think the best overall cruise line to work with because of where they go, their experience, the great value they have, the smaller ships that can get to anywhere, and the entertainment and the exclusive things that you can find on board. I think it's amazing. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Javier?
That's it. I mean, whether it's Hal or another brand, it just let's go out and travel. That revenge travel is real. That's what we're seeing, and guests are ready to go. And with the cruise industries probably has had more headwind with restrictions and protocols, but as things are opening up, we are seeing demand coming in. Like this week, it's been like a switch was flipped. So my crystal ball predicts next year, if you're looking to book for 2023 in next year, that value is gonna decrease as pricing increases, right? So it's still a buyer's market if you can lock it in now. That's the only thing that I would share and suggest. So contact Ted for more information.
Okay, and then one other thing is, could you just give a quick review of the current promotions, and what to expect and how long they last,
Sure.
so that I just want to say anybody that wants to get on board now, you do have the opportunity, but go ahead and explain that really quick.
Sure. So
I know
our
you talked about it already, but a review.
Yeah, our 2023 promotion is the book early and save. That includes the have it all amenities of the beverage package, the surf Wi-Fi, the specialty dining, and the shore excursion credit. On top of that, we're adding up to a $300 shipboard credit. We are also adding complimentary gratuities to make it more inclusive for you as the guest. That is running through the end of or through middle of October. But we do have a kids sail free on top of that if you're looking to do a multi-gen cruise for 2023. But that kids sail free ends at the end of this month. Looking at last minute, we have our Save on Sunshine. That is just for select sailings for 2022 for Caribbean and Mexico, where it's 40% off. And if you book by the 23rd, we are including gratuities as well, or crew appreciation is what we're calling it there. So if you're looking at Alaska for 23, you have those exclusive signature amenities. If you're doing select cruise tours with Ted for Denali or Denali and Yukon, such as additional Denali dollars, the lunch on the Tundra Wilderness Tour, the upgrade with the suite over McKinley Chalet on select cruise tours, and our grand voyages that you saw. We are also running extra value based on the itinerary that you're running or that you're booking. It could be additional shipboard credit or different amenities, and all of them have a 3% savings if you do early final payment. I want to say it's by February 2023 with those grand voyages. That's it.
Okay, thanks, Javier. And here's our information. These are all our different agents. And there's our website, our blog, our Facebook page, Facebook group, Holland American Line website, etc. By the way, Javier did mention that there is going to be a test on this presentation. So, you might want to, we're going to show the recording later. You might want to study up on that because we expect you all to get 100%. Okay. And so thank you so much for attending our Cruisin' with Ted presentation with Holland America. We are going to be signing out. You are the people that make it happen. We can't do this without your support. Whether you book through Cruisin' with Ted, directly through Holland America, or if you have your own travel agent, or if you are a travel agent, the most important thing is that keep supporting and keep backing up Holland America Line, because they are the #1 cruise company that's been there since the beginning, and they are amazing. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thanks for attending. Signing out.